Alright, so today we're going to learn the types of variables in an experiment. This is going to be a very fast video because we're only going to watch this, but it's a very important video because the types of variables in an experiment, as I said in the last video, are fundamental in making a good experiment. And basically, if we don't design a good experiment, then the experiment is useless, completely useless, which means we have to take into serious consideration these ideas that we're going to see about the types of variables. Okay, so we distinguish basically between three different types of variables: the independent variable, the controlled variable, and the dependent variable. And these variables are fundamental to understand in order to design a proper experiment. So we will make or try to understand these three different variables. We've got the independent variable, we've got the dependent variable, and we've got the controlled. Okay, so what are these variables? Let's start with the independent variable. The independent variable is the variable that we're going to intentionally change. Okay, this is the one that is intentionally changed. Intentionally changed. Okay. For example, if we're trying to test how different types of fertilizer work with a plant, then the amount of fertilizer that we are using is the independent variable, or the type of fertilizer that we're using is the independent variable, because that is what we're intentionally changing. Okay, the type of fertilizer in that case is what we are intentionally changing to see what happens. So it would be the independent variable. Importantly, the independent variable must be unique, because if we intentionally change many things, we cannot conclude which of those many things helped the plant grow. So yeah, it has to be unique, at least to determine for sure if that was the cause. It's true that we can make an experiment with many independent variables to check if something happens, and then if nothing happens, we can dismiss all the things that we've tested. But if something happens, then we would have to go one by one to see what is actually the important thing. So usually we would say that the independent variable is the one that we intentionally change, and it has to be unique. Then the dependent variable is the variable that we want to see if it's changing or not changing. Okay, this is the variable we are measuring as an outcome. As an outcome of the experiment. This is the variable we're measuring as an outcome of the experiment. We're trying to see if it's changing or not. Okay, we're trying to see if it changes or not. Try to see if changes or not. Okay, why is this variable? What is this fundamental variable as well? For example, in the idea of the plant, we would try different fertilizers and in different plants, and we will measure, for example, the height of the plant, and we could see that some fertilizers make the plant grow bigger than others, right? So we are seeing if the height, which is the dependent variable in this case, is changing or not. And so basically, independent variable is the one we're going to change, and dependent variable is the one that we're measuring if it changes or not. And finally, the controlled variables, and we could see controlled variables because they are many variables. Controlled variables are the ones that must remain constant in the experiment. And why must they remain constant? Because if we don't keep them constant, then we cannot really see if what we're changing is the cause of the change or not. Because if many things are changing, we cannot really trace back what of those things made the change happen. If I change the soil, I change the fertilizer, I change the amount of light, I change the amount of water I'm giving to my plants. Then some plants are going to change, grow bigger than others, but we don't really know what is the cause or why is this change happening. Is it happening because of the fertilizer? Is it happening because of the soil? Is it happening because of the light? We don't know. We can't know. So that's why a control variable is a fundamental in designing a good experiment. We only need one independent variable, one dependent variable, and all the other variables are controlled variables. They must remain constant in order for the experiment to be a good experiment. Okay, so this is the idea that I wanted to get through. We have to take into consideration that all these variables are properties. We will see this later in the course. Properties of matter. Okay, but just so we understand this better, a property of matter is something that can be measured. Okay, so any variable we can think of must be something that can be measured. For example, the type of fertilizer can be measured. I can use one fertilizer, second fertilizer, third fertilizer, can be pretty easily distinguished. And then the dependent variable must be, for example, the height of the plant or the color of the leaves, something that can also be measured and easily distinguished. Okay, these variables are properties of matter. That's something, as I say, that we will see throughout the course. I hope this is clear. In class, we are doing some exercises about this to understand in different experiments which is the independent variable, which is the dependent variable, which is the control variable. If you didn't come to class, just ask for the worksheet and I'll give it to you, no problem whatsoever. Hope you liked this video, hope it was useful for you, and see you on the next one.